A court case on the legality of the prorogation of Parliament is underway this week, with a judge expediting the case to be heard February 13th and 14th in Ottawa. The Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms is arguing that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's prorogation of Parliament was unconstitutional. Here to update us on how the case is proceeding is attorney John Carpay, president of the Justice Centre, who joins me from Ottawa. John, welcome. What is the latest on this case?
The Justice Centre's lawyers were putting forward our case on Thursday, February 13th, to argue that government needs to be accountable to Parliament under our Constitution. So Parliament is the boss, and prorogation is a valid tool for shutting down Parliament after a session has been concluded, but it should not be used as a political tool by the Prime Minister to serve the interests of his political party. And so we're saying prorogation's fine, of course, but it shouldn't be abused in this fashion. I think the judge is very keen on releasing a decision early. He ordered an expedited hearing, and I would not be surprised if we had a ruling by February 21st. Would not surprise me.
February 21st, so that's only a week away, and it's, 4 weeks before Parliament's scheduled to return. So what makes you feel that way, John? How can you be so sure?
The judge was not at all sympathetic to the federal government's arguments that this should be like a normal court case and it should go on for months and years. The judge said, no, if we don't release a decision soon, then the decision would be irrelevant. If we come up with a court ruling in May, June, July, August, then it doesn't serve much of a point. But because we might get a ruling as early as Friday, February 21st, that's going to have a real impact, because the court ruling will mean that prorogation never really happened, and so Parliament will be back in session.
Yes, possibly a month early. So once a decision is made, then, John, could the feds appeal it or anything?
Well, the federal government could appeal, and but typically the rule is that the judgment stands unless and until it's overturned. Even if we lose, it's going to provide some clarity on what the Prime Minister's powers are. Currently, there's no Canadian case law that specifically outlines what the Prime Minister can and cannot do in regard to proroguing Parliament. So it'll be worthwhile from that sense. We'll get some clarification in place, because this is the first court action of its kind in Canada.
Wow, so this could be setting a precedent. We'll be watching for that ruling next week. John, thanks so much for your time today. That was attorney John Carpay, president of the Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedom, joining us from Ottawa.